Put Dynamite in Rubble. Und ich rede nicht über die Figur aus Paw Patrol, nur um das nochmal klarzustellen. Bei mir werden keine Hunde explodiert. Dafür gibt es andere Kanäle. Hi, hier ist Max und willkommen zurück zu einem Let's Play von Crimson Diamond. Wir sind in Kapitel 6 von 7, wenn ich die Steam Achievements richtig lesen kann. Also, kurz vor Schluss. Schauen wir mal, wie es weitergeht. Richard Stingstar Evans ist entführt und wahrscheinlich in diesen Minen versteckt. I'm trying to dig out this rubble and not break this old shovel in two while I do it. Better way? Okay, take fuse. Ist das nicht fuse? Look around. The abandoned garnet mine looks dark and desolate in the moonlight. Debris and forgotten equipment litter the area. There's rubble completely obstructing the entrance. The rubble does look fresh. It could be that Nessa and Corvus did enter the mine from here. Jack is here. Heißt das nicht Fuse? Look at thing. Look at equipment. You can see an old discarded plunger detonator amongst the debris. There's a reel of wire. Take wire. Ja, wir nehmen das ganze Ding. I wonder if I can figure out a faster way to clear this rubble. Disclaimer. The developer of this game assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in any processes depicted, particularly dangerous ones involving explosives. Do not attempt anything in this game in real life. Gut, mach ich nicht. Attach wire to detonator. Cut wire. Attach wire to cap. Okay, insert the blasting cap into dynamite. Alter, into Dynamit. Insert blasting cap into dynamite. Gut, also jetzt habe ich quasi den Zünder wahrscheinlich an den Sprengstoff gebastelt. Okay. Attach wire to dynamite. Kann ich zum Wagen zurück? Nope. Ask about wire cutters. Would you happen to have any wire cutters, Jack? I do, actually. Perfect. May I borrow those? Sure thing. Thanks. Cute wire. Cute wire klingt wie eine Band. Cut wire, using the wire cutters. Okay, so. Attach wire to detonator. We don't have the plunger yet. Take the plunger. Also, place detonator. Stick dynamite into rubble. Also, attach wire to detonator. Good, the explosive is rigged. Also, place dynamite. Put dynamite in rubble. Und ich rede nicht über die Figur aus Paw Patrol, nur um das nochmal klarzustellen. Bei mir werden keine Hunde explodiert. Dafür gibt es andere Kanäle. Kann man jemanden explodieren? Ach, bei mir schon. Ready! You carefully place the rig dynamite close to the rubble. Okay, we're all set. Willst du nicht hier das ein Stück weit... Aber du hast hier noch voll viel Kabel übrig. Ich sterbe jetzt einfach. Wir brauchen ja eh die ganzen Achievements. Push. Plunger. Here goes. Okay, gut. Das war ganz witzig. Nancy? Maybe step back a wee bit. Boom, boom. Also, take plunger. Plunger to tree. Take detonator. Behind rock. Ja, okay. Push detonator. That was a bit anticlimactic. Well, it was only one stick of dynamite after all. Look at rubble. Ah, you've managed to create a Nancy-sized hole in the rubble. Gut, das hätte man vielleicht noch ein bisschen darstellen können. Aber na gut. Also, climb through hole. Alright, I can fit through this. Nancy, this is really dangerous. Ja, ohne Scheiß. Weil wenn du da drin hängen bleibst, weil das Ding ist doch eh schon am Einstürzen, dann war's das mit dir. You keep working on the rubble and follow when you can. You're the boss. Und das war die letzte Minute in ihrem Leben. Wait, before you go, it's gonna be dark as night in there. Darker even. Take this lantern. Jack lights the lantern and hands it to you. I've got another one, don't you worry. You're not the only one with big pockets. Thanks. You squeeze through the small one rubble and enter the mine. Wow, seeing the lantern's light reflected brilliantly on the thousands of red crystals embedded in the walls, you're suddenly reminded of why you traveled to Crimson in the first place. If the situation wasn't so dire, you'd be dazzled by this cave of natural wonders. Instead, the red gleams look like blood is beating on every surface, just waiting to fall. You shiver. Toronto feels like it's 1,000,000 kilometers and 1,000,000 years away. Oh dear, is it a water pistol? It's so dark in here, I need to figure out which way Nessa and Coase have taken Mr. Richards, if indeed they came this way at all. Das speichere ich mal lieber separat. Oh, das ist aber cool gemacht hier. Look around. The Garnet Mine's interior is much cooler than the outside. The air feels stale and still. You're grateful for the lantern's light, though the warm glow quickly gets swallowed by the darkness. The opening you created to enter the mine seems to float in the air like a portal to another world. You can see a good deal of the mining machinery that was left behind years ago, as well as a discarded shovel. I think this machine is some sort of crusher. Particularly large red crystal. Gorgeous. Also take shovel. Take garnet. Take stone. Die Musik ist cool. Die Orgeln geben dem Ganzen jetzt natürlich was sehr Sakrales irgendwie. Das in gewissem Sinne ja auch passt. Also nicht, weil es religiös ist, weil weil's eine Höhle hat irgendwie immer was, ja, vielleicht doch religiöses. Zumindest was Sakrales in einem gewissen Sinne, ja? was Urmenschliches. Ja? You chip a particularly lovely crystal sample out of the rock. Haha, das können wir uns doch direkt mal reinziehen. Ne? Crystal sample you took from the mine's interior is truly spectacular. Hallo. While the mine interior sample is pocked with many lovely crystals, the most prominent one is large and red. A healthy-sized garnet, most likely. It's too pretty to pulverize, huh? You slip and fall into the distant, jagged depths of the mine. Scheiße. Also, take stone. Ich sterbe überall. Don't give in to the pressure. Before moving on, find your way. Better luck next time. Und hier geht beides. Ja, gehen wir mal hier hin. Come on. Okay, also hier lang. Where am I going? Ja, das frage ich mich auch. You aimlessly wander in the mine until the lantern goes out. Alone in the dark. Okay, jetzt habe ich, glaube ich, alle Tode, die gehen. Have a game plan first. Awesome step-by-step directions. Okay, look into bucket. You look inside the metal bucket. It's 1/3 full of coarsely ground garnets. When industrial abrasives are sold, they're ground finer than this. This is the first stage of grinding. Take bucket. Grind garnets. Activate Grinder. Das wird alles nicht gehen, außer das wird wahrscheinlich per Hand gegrindet, oder hier? Look floor. Count as shoe print impressions that are leading in multiple directions, preserved in a thick layer of dust. Ah, it's an odd feeling to see these shoe prints. Examine footprints. Aha! Here are some pointy-toed size 14 men's dress shoe prints. And, okay, alle drei. The 3 sets of shoe prints are the freshest after all. Dann follow footprints. Lead down the eastern path. Gee, I'm glad I was able to track Nessa and Corvus down this path. What was that? Despite the terrifying rumbles and shudders surrounding you, you forge onwards. Game has auto-saved. Just as you reach this firelit cavern, your lantern goes out. Oh no, the lantern is out of oil. There's no turning back now. Sign your will, Evan! Sign my fake will, you mean? If you're so smart, why didn't you just forge Pa's will? Then you wouldn't have had to come up with this dumb scheme. If you were so smart, you'd know that Pa's lawyer is still alive. He'd pipe up pretty quick if an actual will from his client came out of nowhere. But this is a perfectly suitable backup plan. It's much easier to forge your will. If you do as you're told, I'll let you die quickly. Otherwise you'll starve to death in the dark. So wie ich das sehe, kann er sich einfach da runterrollen und dann ist vorbei. And we'll forge your signature anyway. Nancy's onto you. You won't get away with this. We'll see about that. It'll be her word against ours. I have to rescue Mr. Richards. My first order of business is to distract Corvus. Ah, ich brauche was zu trinken. Ich renn einfach mal raus. Hallo! Aha! Oh oh! Corvus ties you up. We have to get out of here. Maybe Nancy was followed. Yes, we do. Any last words, brother dearest? Not for you. Nessa takes a handful of crushed almonds from the table. She then stuffs the almonds in Evan's mouth. And he did. Nessa, what have you done? I should have done that a long time ago. Goodbye, Nancy. Corvus takes the lantern and follows Nessa out of the cavern. You're left in darkness, listening to Mr. Richards gasp his last breath. I'm sorry, Mr. Richards. All you can do is wait. It feels like an eternity. And then, footsteps. I'm here, help! Nancy, is that you? Okay, ich glaube, das ist das schlechte Ende jetzt, oder? Is that you, Mr. Richards? Ranger Murdoch. Nancy, Mr. Richards is dead. Let's get you out of here. Nein, ich will laden. Ich will dieses Ende nicht. Ranger Murdoch takes out a pocket knife and saws through the ropes that are binding you. Thanks. Corvus got away and so did Nessa. I'm sorry, I failed. Lass mich laden. Lass mich das laden. Ja, ich will laden. Ich will das alles nicht wissen. Ich will... Nein. Will ich alles nicht wissen. Okay, distract him. Wir könnten was nach ihm werfen. You've arrived at an open, cavernous area in the mine. The path descends down to a natural platform. It appears that the cave-ins that have been rocking the mine have created some deep chasms. An abundance of rocks of various sizes litter the floor. This rockfall looks fresh too, and there's a lot more of it. One doorway to the north is still clear. Doorways to the north and the east are blocked by rocks. This is a very dangerous area. There's a central doorway that leads further back into the mine, as well as a doorway on the right that is completely clogged with rockfall. You see a large boulder, even taller than you, in the shadows nearby. You also see a table, a fire, a wheelbarrow. Okay. This is a pretty good place to conceal myself, should Corvus happen to turn his head. Kann ich hier oben rein? What was that? Just another cave. Okay, good. Wie wär's mit throw stone at Corvus? You aren't confident enough in your throwing range and accuracy to attempt that. Whistle. Können wir noch näher ran? Wenn er nach links guckt. Ich komme da nicht näher ran. Aha. Ja, nein! Okay, wie wäre es mit Knockdown Corvus? Knocking wouldn't help. Throw rock into northern passage. Throw rock into wheelbarrow. Ich glaube, das ist nicht die Lösung. Weil die Frage, where would you like to throw it, ist ja eigentlich so... dass man sagen müsste, okay, ich muss nur das Richtige eingeben, dann funktioniert's. Aber ich weiß nicht mehr, was ich eingeben soll. Ich habe nachgeguckt und meine Idee ist korrekt. Ich habe es irgendwie anscheinend nur nicht richtig eingegeben. Also irgendwie throw granite into passage is the way to go. Das ist das, was ich machen wollte. Das hat aber nur nicht geklappt. Also ich schäme mich auch nicht, dass ich ihn nachgesehen habe. Corvus, what have you done, you oaf? Either Corvus is inaudible behind the pile of rubble or unable to reply. I just wanted to create a distraction. Uh-oh. Corvus? Let's see if I can free Mr. Richards while Nessa's preoccupied. 2 against 1 sounds like better odds. Maybe we can turn the tables on her until Jack arrives with help. Die alte Hutz ist 80 oder was? Du bist wie alt? 20? Geht's hin und hau ihr eins über den Schädel und gut ist. Nessa continues to paw ineffectually through the rubble while chastising Corvus. Okay. Was weiß ich. Kill Nessa. Herrgott. Untie Richards. Nancy? What are you doing here? You just don't know when to quit, do you? When I get over there, you wish you never meddled. Ja, untie him! Untie! Dauert viel zu lang. Sie steht da einfach so. Komm, mach doch, dumme Nuss. You frantically try to untie Miss Richards' bonds, but you fail. I've got you, dearie. Nessa pulls a knife out of her skirt pocket. Nessa ties you up tightly with the length of... Wieso? Okay, Hab ich was zum Schneiden? Ein Messer. Ein Seitenschneider. Cut ropes with cutter. Wie heißt das? Take lantern. Okay, das ist gut. Stop. Come any closer and I'll throw this lantern over the edge. You need the light just as much as we do. No one can leave this cavern without it. Ja, aber ich bin 80. Mir ist scheißegal. Jack will be along shortly. It's over, Nessa. You can try getting away, but my dear little brother certainly can't. Don't come any closer. Stay where you are. You're trying to tell me what to do? How dare you? Why did you ever set foot in Crimson? Why? If it hadn't been for you... Nessa is so overwrought she can barely speak. Nessa stamps her foot angrily. Und dann sterben alle. You! Ruining everything! And that's where we all die. All of my planning, all that I've done, undone by you, you meddlesome slip of a girl? Nessa, be careful. Tell me what to do, how dare you? Nessa pulls a knife out of his skirt pocket. You'll never leave here alive, watch out. I said don't tell me what to do. Oh nein, wir sterben alle. The whole mine gives a great shudder and part of the floor gives away. Nancy! Nessa clings desperately to the edge of a now yawning chasm which has already swallowed her knife. Ah! Nessa? Oh, das ist der Vollgas-Moment. You will never get ahead in the real world. You're too soft. Nessa, a note has been added. Which is in meinem Notizbuch, I'm too soft. Fool, what happens to nice girls, do you think? You're a doormat and I wouldn't even bother wiping my shoes on you. Tie rope. Ja, wir helfen ihr trotzdem. Pull Nessa. Do be quiet for once. Ah, wir hätten sie einfach fallen lassen sollen. Nessa gasps for breath, recovering from her near-death experience. You're stronger than you look. Dankeschön. I wonder if I could safely secure Nessa. I need to do something before I start standing up, or else she might run off. Tie Nessa to wheelbarrow. Knock Nessa over the head. Einfach weil es hier jetzt so, weil es jetzt ein Kapitel ist, in dem es sein kann, dass ich bestimmte Dinge nicht tun kann, wenn ich die Gegenstände dazu nicht habe. Und was ich nicht habe tatsächlich, weil ich es nicht mitgenommen habe, als wir in der letzten Folge diese blaue Truhe untersucht haben, hätte ich das Vorhängeschloss mitnehmen können. Und damit hätte ich sie jetzt an der Schubkarre festbinden können. Deswegen ist Stand-Up tatsächlich gerade meine einzige Möglichkeit. As Nessa steps over you, she glances over at you and mutters something. You can't discern what she says. I'm not waiting around for your friends to get here. Never come back. You start moving to follow Nessa, but Mr. Richards calls out to you. Let her go, Nancy. Don't leave me here alone. Do you think that Kevin got her? It doesn't matter. We're safe for now. You manage to untie Mr. Richards now that you have all the time in the world. You and Mr. Richards wait quietly in the cavern. You're too spent to think of anything much to say. The only light now is the fire, and you have no way to bring it along with you. There isn't anything here to fashion an improvised torch either. All you can do is wait and hope. Sometimes the cavern shakes and quakes, and you wonder if you'll die without even knowing it. Eventually, you hear voices and footfalls. We're in here, help! Nancy, is that you, Ranger Murdoch? Nancy. Corvus is trapped behind the rubble in the middle passageway. We should probably get him out. Oder den hat's gerissen. Working together, you eventually clear the rubble and free Corvus. He's a bit worse for wear, but has only minor injuries. Ich sterbe immer, wenn ich da durchgehe, und der hat leichte Verletzungen. Das ist doch voll unfair. Ranger Murdoch cuffs Corvus just in case. Did you see Nessa leaving or pinned under rubble? No, not at all. Didn't hear anything either. It could be that she's trapped somewhere in the mine. There's no way of knowing. Or she could have gotten away. You can think which you prefer, actually. Let's get out of here. Good idea. Ranger Murdoch leads the way out of the mine. You feel incredibly relieved to be out of the mine. It feels like a great weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The automobile is parked down the hill, and there are more rangers waiting for us at the train station. How did everyone get here so quickly? Well, it wasn't quick, actually. I am not actually a forest ranger. I'm a member of Northwest Mounted Police. We've been on the trail of a German spy and saboteur who was rumored to be in this area. We believe he's responsible for the bombing of the bridge west of Crimson. Albert Resper, Karl L. A man known to us as Karl Leffler. You revealed to him, Nancy. Well done. Not only that, you tipped us off to what his next target would be. The Sulaks. Right again. As you know, Canada declared war on Germany a few weeks ago. It appears operatives directed by the German Foreign Office have undertaken a campaign here in Canada to delay military aid to Europe by targeting transportation links such as railways, bridges and canals. We strongly suspect that Karl L., a man we know as Karl Leffler, is one of those operatives. He has been apprehended at the Sulaks while setting up explosive charges, and thanks to your impeccable detective work, Mr. Leffler will surely be brought to justice. Yay! Let's go. Chapter 7. Conclusions. The train station is a flurry of activity. Rangers are milling all around, consulting with each other in whispered conversations. Inside you can hear the non-stop whir and the tick of the telegraph machine. The ranger in charge looks up and acknowledges Ranger Murdoch with a nod. Just the man I wanted to see. Thanks to the intelligence you provided, we were able to alert authorities in Salt Stay. Mary about the Saint? Doch, Salt St. Mary. Okay, genau. Nur gerade verwirrt, weil ich dachte, der Satz endet da. About the impending sabotage attempt on the Sulaks. They were ready and waiting and caught the man red-handed with luggage full of dynamite and blasting caps, not to mention a 9mm Luger in the glove box. Imagine his surprise when they called him by his real name, Karl Leffler, also known as Albert Resper. German spy and saboteur. Wir haben es jetzt kapiert. Er war ein Spion und ein Saboteur. All in all, some mighty fine work, Ranger Murdoch. A crisis has been averted. As much as I'd like to take credit for it, Nancy Maple here is the one who ought to be thanking. She single-handedly figured it out. All I did was pass along the information. Well then, my thanks to you, Nancy Maple. You're a Canadian hero. Thanks. Though I'll warn you now, you might have to be an unsung hero at that. I have a feeling that Canadian government won't want to reveal just how vulnerable we were tonight. It could undermine the blah blah blah, Politik, Arschloch. As long as things worked out for the best. Ah, Nancy, truly thank you for your service. Now what have you got here? We've just come from the old abandoned garnet mine. Mr. Richards here was kidnapped by his sister, but these folks were able to rescue him. Fortunately, we managed to stop things from going too far, but the sister Nessa Crab is missing. We did arrest her accomplice, Mr. Corvus Shaw. I'm confident we'll apprehend Mrs. Crab. The charges against her are serious. We'll use every resource at our disposal. Roger. A busy night? Yes, indeed. Please dispatch some crime scene investigators to the lodge so we can build a strong case. You roger that. I'm heading back to Toronto now. I need to meet with some higher-ups immediately. Northwest Mounted Police has commandeered a train back to the city. I've been told you call Toronto home, Miss Maple. Will you join me? I'm exhausted. I don't think I'm up for more traveling tonight. And I'm not ready to leave Crimson just yet. Suit yourself. I'll need to take your statement for the report, but that can wait a day or two. Ton paperwork, do send word when you'll be returning. I'll pick you up from Union Station and escort you straight to the police station. Will do, thanks. Nathan drives you, Jack and Evan back to the lodge. Margot's death feels like it happened weeks ago. And your arrival in Crimson feels like it happened months ago. And it feels like years ago when you spoke to your boss, Professor Plummer. My boss, my fieldwork. What am I going to tell him? Despite the excitement of the evening, you find yourself nodding off, only to be jolted awake when Nathan's automobile hits an uneven stretch of road. Eventually, not even the bumpy road can rouse you. Nancy, you awake? We're back. Once Jack has roused you from your deep slumber, you make your way upstairs as quietly as possible, lest you wake Kimmy. My goodness, what a night. I've never been so exhausted. endlich mal schlafen, ja? You climb into bed and are eager to fall asleep. But as your gaze falls into the ransacked curio cabinet, you realize there are a few things you may want to bring up with the other inhabitants of the lodge tomorrow morning. I'd better make some new notes on fresh paper to remind myself, or I could just decide to go to sleep if I wish. Okay, warte, jetzt kann ich mir jetzt was aufschreiben? Did Margot have an accomplice in the ruby brooch theft? Ah, das war das, was der Alten geklaut wurde. Yes. Yes, I suspect someone helped Margot hide the ruby brooch effectively. Wir haben die aber nicht gefunden. Who was the accomplice for the ruby brooch theft? Die kann er eigentlich nur... Also Richards war es, dann kann eigentlich nur Jack gewesen sein. Die stecken doch immer unter einer Decke. I'm quite sure I'm right about that. Jack and Margot were thick as thieves, literally. Where was the ruby brooch hidden? Well, I didn't end up finding it, so that's something I have to ask Jack about that tomorrow morning. Now about that curio cabinet. Who stole the pair of antique silver stains? Das war Nessa, oder? Weil sie noch was haben wollte. Ja. That should have been an easy one. The culprit's fingerprint was on the curio and they confessed. Weiß ich nicht. Okay, das war Margot. Thus she admitted to taking the antique silver wedding steins. That's all pretty clear cut. But she mentioned having help. Who helped with the stains? Steins. Das war auch Jack, oder? Oh Gott, haben wir 5000 Seiten von dem Zeug. Das, sie hat es gesagt, aber ich weiß es nicht. Ja, ich weiß vieles nicht mehr. Ist ewig her. Chemie. Würde ich sagen, in der Brosche? I have a theory, but no proof. Okay, dann war das so. Were Margot and Jack having an affair? No. They were just friends. He explained the meaning of their secretive boudoir meeting. He was helping her inject her medicines. What item suggests Nessa came to the lodge intending to threaten or harm Evan? Das waren die Mandeln. Okay, ein paar Sachen haben wir nicht rausgefunden. Also ich. Weil ich nicht sorgsam genug war. Aber ich glaube, insgesamt waren wir nicht so schlecht. Ich würde sagen, 75% von 100. Wenn man das so messen kann, haben wir auf jeden Fall. Das ist mehr als genug. You wake up the next morning feeling refreshed and ravenous. As you make your way down the upstairs hallway, you begin to smell the inviting aromas of coffee and bacon. You enter the kitchen and find the other inhabitants gathered around the table, digging into a hearty breakfast. You join in. Morning light is streaming through the small window, causing motes of dust to sparkle and dance in the light. Mr. Richards is slumped in front of his plate, eyes downcast. Jack, you helped Margot steal Nessa's ruby brooch, didn't you? Well, I didn't help her steal it. I helped her hide it. I think we were all sick of Nessa's shenanigans. How did you know? Just had a hunch. Margot trusted you. She knew you could keep her secrets. Yeah, it was me. I hid the brooch up there in the closet after Nessa and Corvus had ransacked it. After Margot died, huh? I figured it was the last place they'd check if they ever came back to the lodge to take another look. I would have kept it on me, except we were heading to the mine last night to go find Mr. Richards. I didn't want to get caught with the brooch and charged with theft. Her secrets? You mean like in her boudoir on the first night you arrived? Yes, I know, we've already discussed that. Just friends. Treatments, you knew about that. Sure did. Jack helped with her every night. I couldn't. Too squeamish. That makes me feel better about that. Margot knew Nessa and Cobus would rummage through her things. Her vanity has a lock, but she's feeling it was insecure. Kept the brooch in my pocket for a bit. And in a giant closet, pinned it to the underside of one of her hats. Up on one of those mannequin heads. Kimmy, I'm sad that your birding trip was full so much drama and tension. The strangest trips ever taken, so much unpleasantness and tragedy. Hätte ich einfach Birds sagen sollen vorhin? That's really nice. You get me too. Kind, brave, clever. Nathan, have to know. Was in the boathouse and meeting with Albert. Never mind that. Blah, blah, blah. Like that worth is Nessa, okay, but seem to be... Also was cool ist, dass wir jetzt Sachen erfahren, die wir in dem zweiten Durchgang tatsächlich dann finden können, wenn wir wollten. Okay, wir lassen einfach alles so, wie es ist. Wen interessieren schon Diamanten? Diamonds are girls' best friends, aber Nancy Maple ist nicht einfach irgendein Girl. Ja? You sense he'd like some time alone anyway. He gives you and Kimmy a nod and then turns away. As the automobile trundles away from the lodge, you crane your neck and take one last look. I'm really going to miss this place in spite of everything. You turn and face forward. The rattling of the rough road makes it hard to think. The only coherent thought you manage to have is, what will you tell your boss? And what could that mean for your future, huh? Thank goodness the bridge has been repaired enough to allow trains to cross it again. Repaired enough? Ja, das würde mich jetzt auch irgendwie verwirren. What about you, Kim? I don't know, Jack, nothing. I'll stay for a bit. It's been so tense. You enjoy the birds. That's wonderful news. I'm going to miss you. I'll miss all of you. Thanks for letting me stay. We'll let him know. Made it pretty tough und so weiter. Goodbye. You stare out of the train window. It's a clear, cool morning. As crisp and refreshing as it is this far north, you brace yourself for the muggy summer heat down by Toronto. Your mind is buzzing with all that has transpired over the last few days. It feels like you're returning home from a long voyage. You can't help but wonder, did you miss anything? Did you leave any loose ends? Would you like to be privy to some helpful, introspective thoughts? Yes or no? Ranger Murdoch meets you at Union Station as arranged. Das sieht übel aus, der Laden hier. Stuttgart 21. 1921. Wir sind aber etwas früher. Was ist 1917 oder was? Ranger Murdoch. It's good to see you again. Would you like me to drive you home to rest? Interview. Achso, wir müssen noch mehr machen. Scheiß. You look over all the wanted poster and the bulletin board and see a familiar face. It's unmistakably Margot, but she looks scared and angry, and the name is different too. The Margot you knew was at peace, kind and caring. You feel fortunate to have met her. Ah, das ist das, was Nessa meinte, dass sie so eine Vorgeschichte hat. Nancy? Sorry. Most wanted list, Skagway, lawless place, criminals, something that didn't make friends with the right people. You could get stuck with all sorts of trumped up charges. No. Professor Plummer? Aber, Alter, wie riesig ist der denn? Er passt ja kaum in die Tür. Und er steht ja noch dahinter. Nancy, there you are. Welcome back. So, we're in the middle of a confidential interview. Oh, my apologies. What did you find? Are there diamonds and crimson? I must know. Yes or no? No. I didn't find anything. Ja. Nein, wir sind nett. Wir machen das, was die Leute dort wollen. Thanks so much. Let's really begin. I appreciate it. We've detained Nessa Crab in connection with evidence kidnapping and attempted fraud. Okay. He was assaulted at the jetty, but it was dark out and he was rather inebriated. Do you have any evidence connecting Nessa to the scene at the jetty? Yes or no? Okay, wir speichern hier nochmal. Also, habe ich. Yes, I do. What evidence did you find? Ah, footprints. Hair. How did you figure out Mr. Richards' symbol? Okay, good. Some thumbprint cookies. You head home after completing your interview with Ranger Murdoch and immediately set to work on your field report of Crimson. You write at length about the samples you've obtained and the observations you've made, though you do leave out a few details, such as that there are diamonds in Crimson. Professor Plummer proves to be an enthusiastic and patient mentor, despite his mild disappointment at the unremarkable findings. You impressed him with your attention to detail and hard work. Together you produce an impeccable field report that is published by the Royal Canadian Museum and eventually endorsed by the Geological Survey of Canada. Your first publication, Nancy, a real feather in your cap. Weeks pass, soon you immersed in your regular life. You become an expert on the filing system and even suggest some ways to improve it. You find yourself missing the fresh air, the roaring waterfalls and rushing rivers of Crimson. You wonder if you'll ever hear about how things are going up there, until one day. There you are, Nancy. I thought today's newspaper might be of interest to you. You start reading the newspaper. There's a small mention of Nessa Crab. She's considered a fugitive and wanted in connection to her brother's kidnapping and attempted fraud. Corvus Shaw charged for his role. When Crimson anywhere in smartest news. No news is good news. No mention about the sabotage. Minor delays. You shudder to think of it. You skim the rest of the newspaper, but nothing else catches your eye. That's a relief, I suppose. Ah, verdammt! Let's go. Too bad about the whole diamond fiasco, huh, Nancy? But we both knew it was a long shot. Good work today, kiddo. See you tomorrow, bright and early. Yes, sir. You start the long walk home. You're relieved that Crimson won't become an open pit mine and that Kimmy and her cormorants are safe and happy. Hiya, Nancy. Another late night, huh? I've got a bit of stew saved for you. Kept nice and warm on the stuff. Thanks, Mrs. Williams. I'm starving. Roberta Williams. Go in, Lazar. I'll serve it up. Roberta Williams und Ken Williams haben The Colonel's Bequest gemacht. Roberta Williams hat es geschrieben. Und ich glaube, sie hat sogar ein Wort der Zustimmung zu diesem Spiel geschrieben, dass sie es cool findet, dass es das gibt. Mrs. Williams ladles a hearty bowl of stew and slices a bit of bread for you. The food is delicious and warms you to the bone. She sits with you and the two of you chat about the goings-on in the neighborhood. You're grateful she rents your room so cheaply. Museum clerks don't get paid very much. Once your belly is full and Mrs. Williams has washed the bowl, she waves you away from this menial task, you step lightly upstairs, lest you wake the other lodgers. Na, immer noch ein, zwei neue Bilder im Spiel, das ist eine coole Sache. Erstmal pennerig machen. Ne? You fall asleep as your head hits the pillow. You're exhausted and tomorrow will be another exhausting day. Und ich penne mit kompletten Kleidung einfach so. But every exhausting day is another step closer to making your dreams come true. Well done, Nancy. You did a good job with sussing out the motives and actions of the other guests, but you missed the mark on a few things. You scored 15 points out of 25 during your pre-departure ponderings. You performed satisfactorily during your interview with the ranger, but you could have been more helpful. You scored 8 points out of 19 during your interview with Ranger Murdoch. Oops. 0 points out of 8 for your Margot investigation. Ja gut, da fehlt mir einiges, ja. Ja, okay, der ist am Arsch. Corvus was found guilty of being an accomplice in Evan's kidnapping. Mark was laid to rest. Crimson's lushly overgrown cemetery. Kimi Kishiro stayed on at the lodge until after the autumn migration of birds. Jack remained at the lodge, continuing to take care of it. After Evan legally transferred the lodge and lands to Nathan Cardinal and his family. Nathan Cardinal and Evan Richards arranged the transfer of the lodge and lands to the Cardinal family, effective immediately. Considering recent events, they agreed it was a good idea. Nessa Crab was never seen again. It could be that she never made it out of the mine, or that she kept a low profile after her escape. It rankles you that she got away with at least one murder. You find yourself looking over your shoulder often, and you still see her vengeful, firelit face in your nightmares. Evan Richards lived the rest of his days in his beloved lodge, but he always feared that Nessa was lurking in the woods and staring into the windows at night, seeking revenge. Upon his death, Evan was buried alongside Margot and his parents in crimson, which is exactly what he wanted. You wish you could have done more to help him. You have many sleepless nights over the fact that not only did Nessa get away, ja doch, but also you weren't able to prove she murdered Margot. You continue working diligently as a clerk at the Royal Canadian Museum. A month later, you accepted at the University of Toronto in the Department of Geology and Paleontology. A few months later, you receive a letter from Ranger Murdoch praising your investigative prowess and tenacity in helping to foil the sabotage attempt at the Sulaks. Thanks for playing. Okay, nix mit 75%. Das war nicht so gut. Aber tatsächlich, einige Sachen fehlten mir einfach. Das mit der Brosche habe ich einfach fallen lassen. Dass Nessa die Täterin war gegenüber Margot. Wir hatten doch eigentlich die Fingerprints. Wieso habe ich die nicht... Ach so, ich hätte mit dem... Das war das Problem. Ich hätte vielleicht mit dem Ranger noch sprechen sollen. Das ist das, was ich einfach verpasst habe. Cool. War auf jeden Fall eine spaßige Sache. Mit vielen Dingen, die man untersuchen kann. Aber trotzdem fühlt sich's wie eine vollständige Geschichte an, auch wenn ich jetzt ein paar Dinge verpasst habe. Deswegen sehr, sehr cool. Julia Minamata, 2 Thumbs up. Und wir sehen uns in einem anderen Let's Play. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, würde ich mich mal einen Daumen nach oben oder einen netten Kommentar freuen. Bis dann.
Ich bin ein Girl called Nancy Maple. Und dies war meine Geschichte. Ich hab viel Sachen untersucht und brachte manche Straftat wie Vorwurf ans Licht. Ich bin ein Girl called Nancy Maple. Ich weiß, mein Score ist nicht so geil. Doch jetzt lieg ich in einem Wohnzimmer. Er und ich weiß, wir sehen uns im nächsten Teil.